What's up, YouTube? Let's call it back. 2020 wrapped video. Been waiting for this one for a while. Now, just a disclaimer, and this is kind of just a message to myself. I apologize for the way I look in this video. Just keep it real with you. As some of you may know, I've went through an eating disorder recently, probably in the past 2 years, 2018 to 2019, which is I was starving myself pretty much. I was obsessed with the way I look. I've kind of matured past that, but now I'm just trying to find that balance. And with everything that's happened in 2020, you're going to see what has happened in 2020. But with everything that's happened in 2020, I've gained a lot of weight. When I first moved to Seattle back in 2018 as a freshman in college, I was probably like 190, 195 at the max. And right now I'm probably 260. So it's like a 70-pound gain. I'm still trying to find my balance in life. I was at the opposite spectrum where I was starving myself, and that's obviously not the right way to live. But now I'm trying to find that balance. So bear with me here. We're going to be back on it. Trust. I'm going to get back on my grind. We're going to be back. But all right, let's get into the video. This is a unique one. So let's get into it. So how I'm going to start this is, 2020 was obviously a year for everyone. Everyone had their own experiences. I'm sure everyone went through some type of hardship. This is just me kind of reflecting on what my 2020 was. And I'm going to go through how we got to this point. What my mindset was, going through it itself, of course, and how I'm moving forward. So that's 3 different segments. So 2019. Probably the greatest year of my entire life. I just moved to, I was fresh to Seattle. It was my first full year being in Seattle. I was a freshman, and I just had it good. I was just so blessed. I didn't have to pay a dime for school. I didn't have to pay a dime for my dorm. I didn't have to pay a dime for anything. I had scholarships. I still do have scholarships to where I still have that luxury. But freshman year was all new to me. I had so much money coming in, so much to the point where, school was paid for, dorm was paid for, food was paid for, and I still had thousands left over. And I was like, what do I do with this? And I was just living it up. I was traveling every quarter. When I first realized that I was going to have a lot of money left over, I'm talking like $4,000, $3,500 around there. I hadn't moved to Seattle yet. I was still in Yakima. My stuff was all packed. And I was like, dang, what am I going to do? The first thing that came to my mind is travel. I went to Japan as a foreign exchange student way back in high school in 2017, and it just ignited it just expanded my whole world, my whole mindset. And, traveling just became so important to me. I wanted to see more parts of the world, more parts of the country. And so immediately when I knew I had that leftover money, probably should have saved it, but I don't regret a single thing. So immediately as I move into Seattle, the next week I'm already traveling. Booked my flight. I'm going to Chicago. I'm checking out a BTS concert, as you can see. It was my first time traveling alone. It was a freaking blast, catching flights by myself, taking Ubers to the concert, enjoying the concert, going back, being like, what do I do? I'm just in Chicago, living it up. I was having a blast. And I did that every single quarter, winter quarter. I was like, all right, what's next? All right, I hit up my friend Isaac, let's go to LA. I want to go see another K-pop group, Red Velvet. I went to go see them live in February of 2019. Again, that was just a super blast. And I think it was so important for me to just mature as a person. Just get out there, be independent. Going to college isn't just all about the classes, but it's about how you grow as a person by the end of it. And when I look back at my freshman self, I feel like I've grown so fast, like way faster than the amount of time that's passed. It's been almost 2 years. About 2 years, but I feel like I've grown as a person, as a young man, like 5 years. Spring quarter, I traveled to LA again. I went to go see another BTS concert. BTS announced another tour. I was like, say less. I was on it. Cop tickets, everything. We're going. Booked the hotel, booked the flight. We were just living lavish, and I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but that's just how 2019 was, which is going to be a big factor into what 2020 became. I was just so blessed, I was so thankful that I had these opportunities. And then right after that, I went to Japan again. I worked as a photographer. The summer I graduated high school, So that short period between going to Seattle for UW and graduating between high school, that short summer, I had a couple professional photography jobs, and so I made some good money off of that. So I had some good money going into college as well. And for the next summer, me and Isaac booked a flight to Japan for 2019. So right after the school year ends, I moved back to Yakima, and I'm already catching a flight across the world to Japan. Freshman year wasn't all lavish. I was alone a lot of the time. I was trying to find myself. I went through a lot of trials and tribulations trying to figure out what is my place here. How do I keep pushing myself forward? And it really took a toll on my mind. I was alone a lot. There was a 1 week period where I feel like I didn't say a word at all. I didn't speak to anyone. I would wake up. I didn't talk to my roommate. We were beefing. That's a whole different story. I go to class, not talk to anyone. Headphones in, sit in class. I don't talk. I don't raise my hand. Take my notes and leave. Go back home, get something to eat. I don't say a word for like a whole week. So it was just taking a toll on my mentality. You know, I felt so alone. And Etika was a YouTube streamer.
What's going on? Guess what? Your boy is back. And I come back to bullshit now.
And I would always just watch his streams. Pull it up on my laptop, sit on my bed, and I would just watch his streams. And, you know, it gave me comfort.
Hey! Hey!
I really did care for Etika a lot. But he was going through a lot. 2019, and 2018, he had mental breakdowns. He was going through mental health, obviously.
I'm really, really scared right now. Look, can you see me?
Okay, Desmond.
Okay.
All right. Glad your hands are empty, okay?
Okay. Okay. Here. Look. Okay.
Turn around, buddy.
Okay. Ow.
And people were making fun of him. And his mental health was just going so low.
Attica!
And the day I left for Japan, which was June 18th, 19th, something like that, he posted an I'm sorry video, basically a suicide video.
I'm sorry, yo. I wish it didn't have to be this way. I really had no intention of killing myself, but I would always push it too far. In an attempt to be edgy, I fucked up my entire life. I guess it's starting to hit me now, because I'm starting to break up a little bit. I'm like, oh, fuck. Tears are coming, nigga. Here we go. Bitch nigga time. It's bitch nigga time. Fuck. But nah, I'm going to keep my composure.
And no one could find him. He was gone. The whole time I'm in Japan, no one knew where he was, and I was keeping up to date.
New York City police say 29-year-old Desmond Amofa, known online as Etika, hasn't been seen or heard from since posting an 8-minute video apologizing to his viewers.
And the day we were leaving Japan, bags were packed, woke up in the morning. I wake up and check Twitter. Etika confirmed dead.
Etika, popular YouTuber and streamer, has been found dead after missing for nearly a week.
That one messed me up for a long time. I got up. I didn't want to cry in front of Isaac. I went to the bathroom and I just started crying. That whole day when we were taking the trains to get to the airport, we were going through all of Japan. It was so beautiful. I was sitting on the train and people were in front of me and I was just trying not to cry. And all summer I was going through it. Etika passed away 2019. Oh yeah, I dropped the Creed 2 remake the summer between freshman year and sophomore year. So 2019, that summer, I made Creed 2 remake. You know, I kept telling myself that I wanted to push myself to do more. I can't just go to UW and take classes. I can't just go to UW and just live lavish and not make anything happen. I gotta stay motivated. So during freshman year, I started my website. I had business cards. I was photographing for the business school at UW. I was trying to get myself out there. I was trying to connect with people. I was making myself go out there and advance myself farther. And I always know when to get into film, I was like, I gotta do something film. And so it came in my mind, I want to make a film every single year I'm in college and hopefully every single year afterwards. You know, just thinking about all that, how much I traveled, how carefree life was. I was just at the waterfront every day. And I would just go to the Space Needle if I wanted to. I met Yaz, just having a blast. You know, 2019 was a great year. And so going into sophomore year, I was like, okay, I'm ready. I want to try making my own original film. So all sophomore year, I'm working on my script. And so going into sophomore year, you know, we had no idea what was going to occur. So I was thinking sophomore year was going to be just a continuation of that. I was so excited. I knew my place at UW. I knew my way around. I wasn't a freshman anymore, so I was so excited. I got a job at Banana Republic, which is my sophomore year started at the end of 2019, like September to the rest of 2019. I was working downtown Seattle. I met great people. It was so much. I still had a blast. I was learning Japanese. I was taking film classes. I was working on a script. I go to Banana Republic. I'm waiting to clock in. I got like 15 minutes writing the script, just ideas. I'm meeting people. I met someone who acts at Banana Republic. I met someone who has a fashion degree at Banana Republic who could maybe one day down the line be a costume designer for me. And they also played a role in my 2020 film. So autumn quarter, right before 2020 hit, was, I was still motivating myself. I didn't travel, but I knew it was coming. I knew I just had to stay patient. It would have been foolish of me to think that I was just going to repeat freshman year all over again. Autumn quarter ends, so 2020 starts. Everyone's excited for 2020. It's going to be a great year. Let's make it something great. Everyone's got their New Year's resolutions. Wake up January 26th, I think it was. I wake up, I check Twitter. First thing I see, Kobe Bryant has died in a helicopter crash. And I'm like, nah.
Retired Los Angeles Lakers basketball star Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash.
Toss my phone. I'm like, no way. What? And people were talking, people didn't know if it was Kobe or not. People were thinking it might have been someone else. And so that whole day was just tough. And then probably sometime in the afternoon, they confirmed it. Kobe died. His daughter died. I think like 7 or 9 other people had passed away in the helicopter crash. And I was like, damn. I grew up playing basketball. So, if you grew up playing basketball, watching basketball, Kobe was going to influence you no matter what. He was such a big influence on my life. I remember I watched his last game where he dropped 50 on the Utah Jazz at home at the Lakers Stadium when I was like 16 years old. 2016, yep. It was April 2016. I remember watching that game. It was the first time I was like, man, I'm really going to miss Kobe playing basketball.
For three, Lakers will get a chance to take the lead, and look who has the ball. With half a minute to play, Bryant for the lead. Yes! Kobe Bryant gives the Lakers the lead.
It really messed me up. I feel like it had an effect on everyone. That's how 2020 started. This new virus, which we all know is COVID, hits. The first thing we hear is there's this new virus in China, in Wuhan, China. Everyone knows Wuhan, China now.
The mystery virus started here in the city of Wuhan. Chinese authorities pinpointing its source to this food market.
And, everyone's on Twitter. We're watching the videos. There's these scary evacuation noises. There were videos of people just dropping, just fainting on the streets. It was terrifying. Military was forcing people to stay in their houses. They were boarding up their doors so they couldn't leave. The hospitals were so overflooded with ill people that they had to build a whole new hospital in like a week. It was insane. And we were like, yo, this is kind of scary. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, I wonder if it's going to get to the U.S. Funny, right? We're still going to class. Everything is still normal, but people are on edge. I was starting to wear a face mask, but I wake up one morning, check Twitter. The first official case of the coronavirus has touched base in the U.S. The first official recorded. I'm sure it was here before. But the first official recorded case of the coronavirus has been found in the U.S., and guess where it is? Right in Seattle, Washington.
In Health Watch, the first case of China's new and deadly coronavirus has been reported here in the U.S. He's currently quarantined at a hospital just north of Seattle.
Right where I'm going to school. And that threw everyone on edge. Now everyone's wearing masks. We're getting emails from UW saying like, hey, We're on high alert. We're trying to figure out, we're trying to prepare for the worst. We don't know what's going to happen, but just stay calm and go to your class. You'll be all right. I'm like, okay. So now more people are wearing masks. We get another UW email. There were 3 students who went back to China for winter break and came back to UW, and they might possibly have COVID. They tested them and they quarantined them. Now we're really on edge because we're like, oh crap, what if this virus has touched base on campus? What if it's already spreading? We're sitting in classrooms with everyone right now. Now everyone's on edge, and we don't know how deadly this virus is. We just saw videos of people fainting and just falling on the floor. We saw videos of military making sure, boarding down up doors so people don't leave. We saw videos of Wuhan, China building an extra hospital in a day because they don't have enough beds. So we were on edge. It was right here on UW campus. At that point, I left my Banana Republic job because, you know, I didn't need to work. I had the apartment paid for, everything paid for. It was just hindering myself. I had more stuff that I was trying to chase. You know, the next film, photography, film, everything. It was just hindering me. So I quit that job. I wasn't working at Banana Republic anymore. I was just a student. I had an apartment with 4 other roommates. I snuck in Yaz. Yaz was living with me. And then next thing you know, in March, lockdown. Everything's locked down. No one, no school, no restaurants, no movie theaters, no nothing. Everything is locked down. And people actually took it serious at that time, the first lockdown, because Seattle was a ghost town. Everywhere was completely empty. No one was going out. At that time, I was like, I do want to make some side money. So I was like, this is the perfect time to become a food delivery driver. So I hopped on Postmates, Uber Eats, and I started delivering food. And at that time, I was making good money because everyone was inside. So I really got to see all of Seattle and what it was like throughout the first month or months of the pandemic. I really got to experience it because I was all over Seattle and it was empty everywhere. It was eerie. It was creepy. It was cool because there's no traffic. You know, it's easy to find parking. Literally no one. But it was creepy. You know, it felt like The Last of Us. Last of Us Part 2 takes place in Seattle. It felt like that. UW was like, we're doing only online. There's no more in class. And they told UW students, if you want to move out of the dorms or whatever, we'll give you a refund for this quarter. So all 3 of my roommates, they dipped. They all moved back to their homes, which is a smart idea, saves money. For me, I had the luxury of staying in Seattle. I had the luxury to afford it. So I was like, I'm just going to stay here. So it was just me and Yaz in a 4-bedroom apartment. And we just had the whole apartment to ourselves all of spring quarter, which was really cool. And we had online classes. Yaz started school that quarter. I was trying to keep myself busy as much as possible. I started my YouTube channel in January of 2020, soon after Kobe Bryant had passed away and his daughter and 7 others. Working on the script, I was like, I'm not gonna let 2020 get wasted. I had such high hopes because 2019 was such a great year, and it was kind of falling down. You know, everything was just happening bad, and I was like, I'm not gonna let it go bad. So I kept grinding on the YouTube channel, kept grinding on my schoolwork. I was grinding food delivery, making good side money. We were living good. You know, what sucks is that, I said we were still going to travel in 2020. BTS announced a world tour for Map of the Soul, their newest era albums, that they were going to do a world tour, stadium tour, just like I went to in 2019. And I was like, oh snap, this could be Yaz's first concert. I'm gonna get me out there. I'm gonna buy me a ticket. I'm gonna buy Yaz a ticket. I'm gonna buy Isaac a ticket. The concert was on my little brother's birthday. I was like, I don't care if you don't like BTS, I'm copping you a ticket. We're all going to LA. It's gonna be a blast. We copped the tickets for 2 days. They were performing in LA for 3 days straight. We copped 2 days worth of tickets. So we were going to see them twice in one weekend. COVID hits, postponed indefinitely. Who knows when the concert's going to happen now. We still have the tickets because I wasn't getting no refund. BTS tickets are hard to get. We're going to see them eventually. Traveling was out of the question. I wanted to go to China 2020. I wanted to go to Japan 2020. Out of the question. So I was like, I'm not gonna let this stuff go down like this. I'm gonna keep myself busy. I'm gonna stay productive. I'm gonna make something happen. And we made a movie, summer of 2020. Made a movie, Invisible. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on the channel. It's only 45 minutes. It's entertaining. It goes by fast. I think we did a good job. We made Invisible, which is probably my crowning achievement for this year. You know, if I didn't make that movie, I'd be like, dang, I didn't do anything in 2020. But we got it done, which just kept me pushing. I made one 2019, made one 2020. Okay, 2021's ahead. Get ready. We'll get into that later. So we made the movie. I stayed in Seattle for the summer. We were trying to find a new apartment. I really don't want to get into this part, but I better. As I said, 2020's been a tough year. Kobe Bryant died in January. Etika passed away in 2019. My grandpa had been struggling with cancer for a while, on and off. He'd been through chemo. He was getting old. He was struggling. This was the grandpa that, you know, at every birthday party, you know, my birthday parties were real small. I don't have a big family at all. It's me, my mom, my brother, a couple grandparents. That's it. He was always a grandpa. His name was Grandpa John. He was always the grandpa that made sure he was at every one of my birthday parties, made sure I had $20 in my pocket. You know, those things are so small, and you know, when you think about it, but in reality, it really, you know, just having that shadow of support as a kid, you know, they don't really talk to you that often, but they always make sure they're there to support you for your birthday or whatever it is, basketball games. They'll always make sure you got $20 in your pocket. That does a lot for a kid, especially when you look back on it. So, he's a really cool guy. Struggling with cancer. He was going through it bad. He ended up having to come to Seattle to stay in a hospital, which was in May. So COVID's strong. Everything shut down. My grandpa's in the hospital in May. And my other two grandparents, my Grandma Seta and Grandpa Earl, are the only ones there for him. They'll follow him to the ends of the earth to make sure he gets the help he needs. So they were there with him. So I was seeing my Grandma Seta and Grandpa Earl a lot at that time because my Grandpa John was in the hospital. So they were over in Seattle making sure he was good. I had the apartment open to myself, remember? So I would let my grandparents, Grandma Seta and Grandpa Earl, crash at the apartment. You know, I called them up. I was like, hey, are you guys in Seattle? Where are you guys staying? And they were like, oh, we're just sleeping in the truck. You know, just sitting in the hospital lobby all day. I was like, what? I was like, I got the apartment open right here. Come here. I'm not going to let you guys sleep in the truck. So I would let them crash at the apartment. And then May comes up. He passed away. I traveled back for the funeral. I'm sure, you know, a lot of you have experience with cancer in your families. If you don't, you're blessed. But my family has had a lot of history with cancer, so that was tough. Lost him. I had just seen 2020 has been all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to make this as cohesive as possible. I had just seen my dad. He was going through a lot. You know, my dad has gone through a lot of problems. This could be a whole video in itself. He's gone through a lot of problems in his life. He's had a lot of trauma, PTSD, just stuff you can never imagine that you don't ever want to go through. He had a lot of mental problems. So growing up in middle school, it was just a breaking point. You know, he became an alcoholic, a drug addict. He was going crazy, which is why I have a lot of trauma in my life. I got a lot of bad memories from those times because I saw my dad, who was a superhero, just completely crumble and fall to someone I didn't even recognize. He was scary, scared me and my little brother. That's a whole video in itself, but he went through it. My mom kicked him out when I was a freshman in high school, 8th grader. And so I had, in the past 6 years, 2014 to 2020, I have only seen him 3 times in the past 6 years. So when I was a sophomore in college, he was in the Seattle area, and I always kept telling myself freshman year, I'm gonna see him, I'm gonna see him, I'm gonna see him. Never did. Sophomore year came up around COVID time, and he was going through it. He video called me randomly. He was homeless. He's been homeless. And I was like, I'm gonna come pick you up, come stay with me for a week. Yeah, he was just going through a real tough time, real suicidal. It's all that was on his mind. Alcoholic. He's going through it bad. At that time, that's when my Grandpa John passed away. My dad, I gave him a ride back to the streets, just back to being homeless. My dad told me, it was about time for me to take him to the train station so he could catch the train back to where he was going. And we were driving in the car, and I was getting real emotional. And because my dad was just so suicidal, and I was scared that this was going to be the last time. I was scared this was going to be the last time I saw my dad. And we were driving over a bridge in Seattle, and you could see the whole skyline. It's sunny, summertime. You can see the Space Needle, the whole skyline. I remember it. And my eyes are starting to get watery, and I'm having a hard time seeing the road. And my dad was like, this might be the last time I see you. My eyes just started pouring. I was crying while I'm driving. He was like, this might be the last time I see you. He said, no matter what happens, whatever happens to me, just know that I will always find you and your little brother. I will always find you and Bebis, no matter what. And my eyes were just pouring. I was crying so much. I dropped him off at the train station, gave him a hug. He smoked a cig. I just watched him walk into the train station, and with everything on top of it, my grandpa passed away. I was scared my dad was gonna die. I wasn't gonna see him ever again. We're halfway through the year. My grandpa Earl gets infected with COVID. My grandma tells me he's in the hospital. They haven't intubated him yet, but they said they have no idea. This was right around film time. I was getting ready to film Invisible, and everything just on top of me. So much death that already happened, death that I was scared was gonna come. It was just all in my head. I was like, I don't know if I can make this movie. Shout out to Yaz, such a big motivator and pushing me to get it done. And then it got so bad to the point where he had to go to the hospital again. And this time they intubated him. And my grandma kept texting me. She was like, I'm so scared. What am I gonna do if I lose him? And I was like, don't think that way. He's strong. He's gonna push through. We film Invisible, and then we get the news. Didn't make it. That one still hasn't hit me. We just made the film. His funeral was coming up, and I couldn't make it because I was around too many people. I was like, I don't want to infect anyone else with COVID if I was contagious. And I didn't make it to his funeral, which hit me really hard. But it was a smart thing to do. Another death. I just lost my Grandpa John in May. I lost my Grandpa Earl, June. Back to back. We finished the film. It's me and Yaz back at the apartment. I was going through a lot of panic attacks. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe. I was freaking out. The death had consumed my mind so much that I just could not breathe. I could not sleep. I would try to go to sleep and my body would just jump me up. I couldn't go to sleep. So we sleep in the living room. I'm like, hey, let's go sleep in the living room. Let's crack open the window. I just want to sleep on the floor in a big open area so I don't feel cramped. She's like, okay. We sleep in the living room. I finally get some good sleep. I wake up in the morning and I get a message from my host brother in Japan. Yo, you know, when I was a foreign exchange student, we became family with our host family. They're family. You know, they're family, for real. Those are my people. I'd do anything for them. I love those guys. I get a message from my host brother. 9 in the morning. I'm not sure what time it is over in Japan, but he sends me a message. He says, hey, my mother just died from cancer. She was so beautiful. She was a beautiful, small Japanese lady, but she was really, really pretty, and she was really nice. She was really nice, you know. She treated you like her own. She treated me and Isaac just like we were her kids. Made breakfast for us, you know, did the dishes. She nurtured us. She made sure we were welcome, and you know, she had the most beautiful laugh. Just an overall beautiful human being. She was so bright. When she would be walking down the sidewalk, she'd be skipping just because she just loved life. Just a beautiful soul. When we went to Japan for the first time, when we were in high school, and we were leaving, the day we left, it was so sad. I did not want to go. I loved them. They were like my family. We get in the car. Our host dad and host brother are taking us. The host mom's staying at home. We get in the, you know, I give her a big hug, and she's so small, and she was a skinny lady, and real so small. I gave her a hug, and then I told her bye. Got in the car, and we drove away. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and she's running out onto the road, and she's waving by at us forever. And I stick my hand out of the window, and I'm waving by. Me and Isaac are just laughing, and we just kept waving by for the longest time until we couldn't see her in the rearview mirror anymore. That's one of the best memories I have with her. And so that death really hit me hard. I still want to go back there, pay my respects. Lost Grandpa John, lost Grandpa Earl, I lost my host mother in Japan. I was scared that I was going to lose my dad. So I was going through a lot. Everything was falling apart. You know, my family was, you know, felt like they were pretty much dying. My family was just dying. My family was already small, and now I feel like my family, you know, pretty soon it's not going to exist at all. I'm gonna look back 15 years ago, and I'm going to be like, none of that exists anymore. And I've been through a lot of drug deaths in my life. When you're Native, you're going to be through a lot of drug deaths, alcohol deaths, suicides. Just death. Death consumes your life when you're Native American. Consumes your life. You can't get away from it. It'll follow you everywhere you go. Car crashes, alcohol, drug abuse, just death. Suicide, homicide, everything. So much death. I've been around death all my life. I can't even, you know, I've been to one wedding in my life, and it's not even from my family. It was a friend's mom's wedding. I've been to so many funerals in my family that I can't even count. Death consumes you when you're a Native American. It destroys you. It's falling apart. As we speak right now, just praying. Just praying. Chadwick Boseman passed away. The guy who played in Black Panther and many other films. You know, he was an icon to me. He was a great role model. The reason I got into film was senior year, early 2018, Black Panther dropped, and I saw how big of an impact film had on people, on kids, on communities of color, on just communities in general. They just impacted so much, and I was like, I want to do that for Native Americans. You know, I remember I saw this video of these kids, majority black, and the principal bought everyone a ticket to go see Black Panther, and these kids were going wild, dancing on the desk and everything, and I was like, you know, I want to do that for natives. We got a lot of stories to tell. As you could tell, I'm telling my story right now. But Chadwick Boseman passed away. That one hit me just because he was a big icon in my life. He played Black Panther, and Black Panther is what inspired my film passion. It was always there. I've been writing stories since I was a little kid. I was into photography. I loved writing. That passion to tell stories has always been there. But I didn't realize it until Black Panther. I'll get into that later. But he passed away. I get a new apartment, which is the one I'm in now, which is just a 1-bedroom with me and Yaz. Get a new apartment. We're in here. This school year already started off rough. Financial problems. A lot of stuff was falling through. A lot of stuff that I had lined up just wasn't playing out. I had to grind. I was grinding to make money. I was scared. This is probably one of the first times that I've been fully, I'm getting close to being fully independent. And it was scary. I didn't know if I could handle it. I was like, I don't know if I can handle this. I'm gonna have to tell you guys we're just gonna have to move back to Yakima with our parents. I don't know if we could do this. But we're still alive, still pushing, we're still here. It's starting to get a little easier. So thankful for that. So thankful for that. I pushed through this quarter, so many financial problems. COVID is slowing down everything. Having some struggle meals here and there, but still blessed to be in Seattle. Still blessed to have such a nice apartment like this. So, I always kept myself motivated. I've been in worse situations, much worse. I'm in contact with my dad. It's Thanksgiving. And my dad messaged me, have a happy Thanksgiving. I miss all of you. I wish I could be with you. Grub out, eat some good food for me. I'm like, I love you too, Dad. I'll see you soon. But he never sees that message. It was just on delivered. On Facebook you can see when they see the message, and he never saw it for a long time. And I was having dreams about him. Weird dreams, and I knew something was wrong. The autumn quarter ends. We're in winter break right now. So this has happened very recently. I wake up, I'm just chilling with Yaz. I get a call from a hospital. And they're like, are you tokalatatum? And I was like, yeah. Who is this? And they're like, we're a hospital from Olympia, Washington. We're calling about your dad, Alex Forehorns. When I got that call, when I first heard those words, my stomach dropped. I just told you guys I was scared. I was never going to see my dad again. My dad was super suicidal. I was so scared that was going to be the last time I saw him. And I thought I was going to get real bad news. And they told me, they're like, so your dad's here. He overdosed on pills. He tried to kill himself. We have him intubated. We have him pretty much on life support. We're trying to get the pills out of his system, but we don't know if we're going to be able to. So they had no word about his condition. They didn't know if he was going to make it or not. With everything going on, this whole accumulated year, this is in December, I was like, should have expected it. Of course, December is going to end on some hardships. Like, I should just know. But I'm not blaming my dad at all. I would never blame someone that has mental health problems. I go through a lot of mental problems with myself. So I'll never blame someone for their mental health, ever. I know exactly what it's like to witness mental health destroy someone, to witness mental health break someone down. I saw it with Etika, seen it with my dad. I've seen it with multiple family members. I know exactly what mental health is, and I know it's not a joke. So I would never ever blame someone for that. I was scared. Thought he was gonna die. I was his only contact. He pretty much doesn't have a family. Natives, most of the time we got real small families. I just told you death consumes us. He's pretty much everyone in his family has died. He's got no one. The only contact they had was me. So I'm making phone calls to the hospital. I'm making stuff, and luckily, thankfully, he recovered. They had to move him to a different hospital. I video called him while he was intubated. He wasn't conscious, but I was just talking to him. I was telling him, I know you're gonna make it. I, I was smudging for him. I was lighting the sage. And thankfully, he recovered. And he's not homeless anymore. Got an apartment. I'm in contact with him now. So thankful for that. If anything would have happened, man, this year, I'm just so glad. I was crying. I was telling Yas, I was like, I'm tired of death. I don't want to go through another death. I'm not gonna go through another death. He's not gonna die. I know he's not gonna die. But I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't scared. I'd be lying to you. I'm still scared every day. Still scared every day that I'm gonna get that phone call and it's gonna be much worse than the one I got last time. And so that's where we're at now. Death has consumed my life a lot. You know, I feel like I'm used to it. It still hits me. I'm an emotional person, but you know, my life has, you know, been through a lot of different situations. We've been on good terms. We've been on bad terms. We've been on horrible terms. Lived in the RV. You know, been through a lot of trauma, a lot of pain. I got a lot of stories to tell. And this is how we're moving forward past 2020. I got a lot of stories to tell. I'm working on the next script right now, and it's dark. I only got dark stories to tell. I don't really got any happy stories to tell. I'm gonna just wrap it up with this. I had this conversation with Yaz last night. I grew up playing basketball. As you may know, basketball was my life. Ball was life. I thought I was passionate about it. And I've thought about it recently, and it was all fake. You know, I would stay up. I would watch motivational videos. I would watch motivational videos about basketball. I would try to get myself pumped up, but I was just trying to create something that wasn't there. I was trying to create this burning passion in me that stuff only comes naturally. I was never really that passionate about basketball. Now that I think about it, never. I thought I was, but I wasn't. What I feel with film is something that I can't explain, but I feel it so strongly within me. I feel it so strong within me. When I think about these stories that I gotta tell, you know, I used to watch this one inspirational video, and it's a very popular one, but it was this guy who would say, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful. I would watch that all the time to get me hyped up about basketball, but it was fake. Now I know what that phrase actually means. I feel like I want to tell this script I'm working on right now, I want to tell this story just as bad as I want to breathe. I can feel it in my chest right here. Like I just want to rip it out and let it out into the world. That's how I feel about film. It creates this burning passion inside of me, and I'm so eager to learn. I'm so eager to tell stories. I'm so eager to just get better and better and better. I feel it in me. It's something I never felt before, and that's how I know this is what I'm meant to do. This is where I'm meant to be. I'm so passionate about telling stories, and I'm not gonna fail. Promise you, I'm not gonna fail. I can't fail. I won't let myself fail. This is worth way too much to me. Native Americans never been represented in media. You know, people just look at us like we're an artifact. Like we were dead a long time ago. Or if we are still alive, we're just sitting on our piece of land just waiting to die. Just sitting on the reservation, drinking away our alcohol, just waiting to die. And that's what it is like. Go on the reservation, that junk ain't no games. That's all it is death. All it is. I had to grow up with that junk. I saw my dad crash down and fall apart. I've seen so many family members crash down, fall apart, die. Households crumble, kids in foster care. I've seen it all. Car crash, everything. We got so many stories to tell, and I'm so mad that they aren't being told. And if they aren't being told, I'm going to be the one to do it. I'm going to be the one to do it. I am going to be the one to tell these stories. These stories of that I've experienced of what it means to be Native American and all these Native American stories of the United States. I'm going to tell those stories. You know, I grew up watching The Warriors. And at the end of the movie, they make it. They lost a lot of people along the way. Their lives have been changed forever. But they make it on the train, and they know they're headed home. They're tired and exhausted on the train, and one of them says, "It's all out there. Everything you want, it's all out there. All we got to do is figure out how to go steal it." You know, they're in a gang. It's all out there. All we got to do is figure out how to go steal it. They went through all this stuff. They know that they want something better. They don't know what they want, but they know that it's out there. And another one of the members of the gang says, "Yeah, well, now all we got to do is figure out what's worth stealing." I've figured out what's worth stealing. I know it's all out there. All I got to figure out is how to go steal it. I survived through 2020. Rest in peace to all the people that I've lost, that you've lost, we've lost. I ain't gonna say here's to a good 2021 because I don't know if I believe it yet. But I'm gonna stay pushing. I'm gonna stay grinding. I hope you guys stay safe and stay okay, true. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Big Cyrus. He was gonna run the whole city. What crap that was.
Cyrus is right about one thing. It's all out there. All we gotta do is just figure out a way to go steal it.
Sounds great. All you gotta do is figure out what's worth stealing.